Good morning, Jasirians. It's the second day of the new year and our very first Hot Topics Friday of 2026. Now the year may be new. Yes, it's a new year. No, new me. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But the news and hot topics, not so much. We're talking culture, taxes. We have an update on Anthony Joshua, yet another fire outbreak in Lagos, and finally, if time allows us, a little celebrity news. So many stories to get through, but first, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay?
I was just saying that this week feels really
like
long. I wasn't here.
Well, we just started January. January is 60 weeks. So I don't understand why you're complaining.
He came in the middle of the week. You have told it to come at the end.
Says it's 60 weeks. January is 60 weeks. How are you people tired on January 2nd?
I felt yesterday was literally Friday. I don't know why I'm here today again.
Yes, yesterday was Friday.
I was making plans like yesterday was Friday.
I don't care what anybody says. Yesterday was Friday.
Because that was Saturday, not knowing that today is 2nd.
I can't help it. I don't know what is the same for everybody.
To one place.
No, but what if we really are in a matrix and yesterday was actually Friday?
That's why the two of you are sitting side by side. Oh my God. I want conspiracy theories.
Oh my God. At least Catherine has climbed away a little from her spirituality.
Yeah. Honestly.
No, she's just keeping it under wraps a little bit. She has not climbed anything. It's because I've not said anything since first. But the hand is doing her. It's not her mouth that was injured. But the hand is affecting the mouth.
But I see Catherine, if she was born in other clients, you know those women with the crystal ball?
They do tarot reading.
Yeah, they tarot reading.
No, I think that's too local. Catherine would be the one. I grew up with them on TV. You call 1-800 Catherine Tells All. And she'll sit down and like, Miss Cleo, and be telling your future and your
let me see your hands.
Yeah. Like that guy that was on E!
Yes,
like that guy that was on E! That Tyler, something that you communicate. Yes, like Tyler. That's you.
She knows all our people.
She knows herself.
Catherine, we don't have anybody like that. Let's start a franchise. Let's tell you. If I slap you, you know they lie. Did we force them?
But if it's so, we just you people should face yourselves. I knocked out yesterday.
I never see anything.
I knocked out.
I wish I knocked out.
Huh? Are you going out this weekend?
Oh, possibly. But you know what? Let me say, if you guys think I oblate, my God, you know my husband's status.
Yes.
My husband has been out literally every single night. There have been 2 times.
I said it's okay.
I woke up this morning.
Dr. Lu was offered an outing and she said no.
I said no. You said no. I said no. I can't do it anymore. My spirit is willing, but my body says if you stand up from that place, I will disgrace you. It's possible. My husband is possible. 4 a.m. I like that. 4 a.m. Mr. Balogun. Then my brother-in-law came 2 days ago. The two of them had now become 5 and 6 outside. 4 a.m. And that's all that one this morning when I was showing me. He said, he does not understand how Rotimi does it. That even I said, I don't know.
You mentioned it yesterday that January also is for rest.
Someone called me 2 days ago and was like, why don't you come to so place? I just said, do you think that I usually go out on a normal because you saw me there on that day doesn't mean I excuse me.
No, I just think I've lost. There's so many things that I don't think I can do again
anymore.
Like loud music places, like a proper club with all those blinking lights.
Probably because
lounges where we can have live music. Now,
I don't believe there's lounges like that still, because lounges nowadays are even loud.
No, so if you do early, you can go to the lounge and then leave around 10. Once you start seeing the change in music, just know that your generation
you just begin to go home.
They have their days. They have their days. They have certain days.
Yes, they have live music days, they have DJ days, they have rave days. But even what are you doing outside after 10?
No.
I don't think
market runs. I think I'm losing taste for market runs. I like market runs for food stuff.
So when
I like to buy things like pepper, things.
You actually like to go out?
No, I said I'm losing taste for going to market to buy like clothing, like shoes, like jewelry.
What is this?
I don't want to go to Malogo to do that.
I love that one. I love that.
I don't like shopping.
I'm losing taste for going around to buy pepper, onions.
Yeah, I would rather do that. But you used to like pepper buying.
I love going.
When are you going mango buying for us again?
It's coming. It's mango season.
We were sharing
I was there.
We were sharing baskets.
I was in
This
the
year you'll see
sideline.
it. We shared baskets of mango.
Can I say something?
There's a
I hated
budget
you
mango for
guys.
1 week.
There's a
I hated you guys.
Why?
Yeah, because I would be in the
Why didn't
makeup
you
and
ask?
I don't know. I felt like you guys had already, planned
You
to
should
see
have
you guys.
seen.
And
You
I was
should
like,
have.
and I love
Mouth does not get mango.
Yes,
I
it's
love
a
mango.
tradition. It's a Jasiri tradition.
It's a tradition. Whenever there is a fruit in season,
Yes.
like we're into mangoes, agbalumo, the sweet ajashe one.
Yes, and then yes, mango. Agbalumo. Now it's strawberry.
When is mango
It's
season
but
again?
Strawberry?
April, March, April.
My basket.
But I don't think-
I ate mango for 1 week only.
Listen, there were baskets. How many baskets did we buy? We bought baskets.
Baskets of mangoes.
It actually makes us happy.
Yeah.
I was eating mango solidly for straight a week.
And we had a very nice palm oil at the time.
I need
Yes.
palm oil.
Palm oil
I need
also
palm
was
oil.
good.
Really
So,
good.
but with the with the change in weather, are we still going to get it April, May?
So it depends. It also
We
depends
are
on the
standing
rains.
by
It also
for
depends on when the
mangoes.
rains also
If rain
start.
gets
When the mangoes.
So it's not that rain. You know, there's like a
Lagos.
period of rain that you have that sort of ushers in mango season
Mango.
because it allows it to.
Is that-
So that's.
But
March,
January
April.
is mango month.
No.
No,
not
there are 2
January.
seasons for mango a year. April and I think August,
Towards the
September.
towards that
Because
side.
everywhere I went, like in Ajay Crowder, mangoes were already on the
No,
tree.
but those ones, we don't eat those.
Those first
because-
fruits,
yes,
sort
those
of, yeah.
first ones.
It's like,
Because
okay,
rain
we're
has not
diverting. We have a show to do that shit.
Actually, we are-
Mango still in
getting-
April.
Yeah.
Take us, and you know this year we are not playing.
Indeed. All right, so
correct.
let's get today's show on the road with a special story from KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, where a vibrant and cultural celebration recently took place. It's called the Umemulo ceremony, a cherished tradition that marks a young woman's transition into adulthood. Now, this event is not only a celebration of her coming of age, but also a community gathering that honors Zulu customs and prepares her for the journey into marriage and womanhood. The Mlaba tribe in Ulundi came together to celebrate this important milestone, showcasing the rich heritage, music and rituals that define Zulu culture. The Umemulo ceremony signifies respect, maturity and readiness for the next chapter of life, with elders and family offering blessings and guidance. Our News Central's Bongani Siziba was on ground in Ulundi and takes us into this celebration of culture and heritage.
A beautiful day in the Zulu tradition when a maiden has come of age. These are the beautiful scenes that usually happen here. If you want to see more of this, come with me as they celebrate this day.
Namhlanje kwenziwa umemulo. Umemulo ethwe abazali bebonga ingane beyikhulisa beyinika the blessings ukuthi singaqhubeka nempilo yayo.
So now what we are seeing here is the maidens taking the maiden that has come of age together with the father and also the uncle. They are now taking it to the homestead, as we remember that she has been here since morning, not allowed to go to their house before she was dressed in the Zulu attire. A true definition that is presented today we are just witnessing that. I had a conversation with the father of the maiden. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about the Zulu culture.
Mungakwenzile lokho ukuthi lengane useyikhuliswa ifaka lesi stage lesi abadala bayibona yona singane nje esencane manje mangabe usenjalo beyibuka kanjalo abakwazi ukumnikeza izinto zabantu abadala yabo abakwazi banikeza izinto zabantu abadala.
My message is to say congratulations, my friend. We all wish to do this ceremony as we are growing up, but we hope one day it's going to happen.
These maidens have vowed to keep the Zulu culture as long as they live. In Bongani Ulundi, KwaZulu-Natal, for News Central, Bongani Siziba.
Bongani
Siziba.
Yes,
And now we should send you there, Dashin, to do your maiden stuff.
But is it not too far?
Maiden,
Okay, so because Kat was asking, do we do this in different parts? And it's not spread across the whole of Nigeria, but I know that I remember Blessings did a documentary when she went to cover the one for maidens. Who else does it? In Kogi, yes.
Yeah.
I think
sure some
there's
tribes.
different levels on it. The ethics do that, the fattening room
No,
one.
we don't really.
But they don't, so I think there are variations.
But the fattening room is not coming of age. Fattening room is for marriage.
Fattening room. So I don't know now whether it's adapted to coming of age also to introduce the girls' society, but it's usually aligned with.
Or should we create one? We should create one.
I don't even think in Nigeria whether we are of that disposition. Whether nowadays parents would think of, oh, let's introduce our children. I don't know. Even if there's tradition like that, I think we're moving away from
I
it.
think we're too religious because a lot of these things stem from culture.
And then we demonize.
And you know, Nigerians demonize anything traditional.
Yeah.
Because there's something one of the fathers said, he said, if we don't do
Bless
this,
her, if we don't do it,
the ancestors will not.
So I don't know whether we are of that.
Well, there's some
here in
tribes who are
Nigeria.
still really, really cultural. You know, those who still understand their roots and always go back to their roots. They're still that cultural, and
But we are veering away from that, aren't we?
Nigerians, we want to be more Western than the Westerners.
Yeah,
that's how we are.
I think there's a bit of hypocrisy in us when it comes to culture because we'll use culture to browbeat. We'll use culture to hold people down, particularly women. But then there are parts of the culture that we will move away from. And culture changes. People are dynamic. As society has changed, culture adapts. And we're not to say everything has to be cut off. But we can see that in some parts of what they even did, they didn't necessarily do it the way they've been doing it for a number of years. Because I think traditionally the maidens are unclothed. And some of them were unclothed there. But now they've made it a choice. You don't have to bare your breast, you know. Wow. So there's small adaptations along the way. And I think that's what it has to be. But the adaptations are not just in dressing. They're also in the way that the culture is upheld. You can look at it now and say, we know better. So we're doing better. Even if we want to keep this cultural thing, we can adapt it because we now have a deeper understanding of some of the consequences and some of the ramifications. But no,
you know, we said it here that culture is made from man. Man wasn't made for culture. So sometimes if you allow yourself to adapt, allow the culture to adapt. Look at it now. Because everybody, you think of South Africa and festivals like this, you think
that was when Tolu was Dashin was introducing it. I was kind of afraid that the Tolu vet this because I know the coming of the maiden thing comes with their breasts exposed, and I'm like, okay.
So now, I mean, there's adaptation in that. Who would have thought that it would come
and they look so beautiful. I was just begging Tolu that when she goes to SA, maybe I'll have to go.
I'm sorry, but you talked about ethic, and I think I saw something on social media recently. I don't know if it's almost the same thing, but these women were wearing plastic breasts. I don't know.
No,
it looked real, but you know, it was plastic. They didn't want to expose themselves.
You're going to have to send it to us and then we'll vet it.
Let's take a break, Lola. Anyway, we'll take a quick break now. When we do come back, we go straight into our hot topics today. Please stay with us. It's going to be great.
Welcome back to the show. You are watching Jasiri right here on News Central. With the new year comes a new tax, and it's a lot. We will have to break this conversation down further in the coming week. But for now, let's lay the foundations. So as of yesterday, January 1st, banks have started charging senders 50 naira stamp duty on transfers above 10,000 naira. They sent me this email. Banks started sending it to me since the 30th of December last year. Now, this follows the implementation of the Tax Act. The stamp duty or electronic money transfer levy is a single one-off charge of 50 naira on electronic receipt or transfer of money deposited in any commercial money bank or financial institution on any type of account on sums of 10,000 naira and above. Now, let's talk a little bit about this Tax Act because it's a major national conversation that has caused mixed reactions across the country. The reform signed into law by President Bola Tinubu represents one of the biggest overhauls of Nigeria's tax system in decades, which is aimed at restructuring how taxes are collected and administered across the country.
The new framework is made up of 4 key laws: the Nigeria Tax Act, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. Now, according to the federal government, the goal is to harmonize taxes, reduce leakages, expand the tax net, and improve revenue generation without overburdening ordinary Nigerians. Now, President Tinubu has insisted that there is no going back on the implementation. He described the reforms as a, quote, once-in-a-generation opportunity, end quote, to fix Nigeria's broken tax system. However, not everyone is convinced nor on board. The reforms have attracted strong opposition from citizens, labor groups, civil society organizations, and political figures who argue that the timing is wrong, especially amid rising inflation, high cost of living, and economic hardship. Now, former presidential candidates of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi, Kachikwu, also appealed to the federal government to halt the implementation. He warned that rolling out the tax reforms at this time could worsen hardship for Nigerians, stressing that while reform may be necessary, the current economic climate makes it insensitive. Here's what he said.
My fear is that if implemented as promised by our president, the tax reforms will instigate a crisis of unprecedented proportions in our nation, which no one can afford, especially with our current security issues. I have applauded some of the president's bold initiatives, and if I choose not to run for office, I will support him any day above the failed politicians masquerading as the opposition. But I must tell him today that I am not in support of this tax reform or any other reform that further decimates the livelihoods of ordinary Nigerians. He can't champion his renewed hope agenda, whilst at the same time cutting short.
Well, senior lawyer and human rights activist Femi Falana has warned that the tax laws cannot legally take effect, citing unresolved controversies surrounding the versions passed by the National Assembly and those later gazetted. Now, he said, and I quote, that there are questions about the authentic tax laws, so which laws are we talking about? Until we have clean copies, you cannot talk of commencement. If that is not done, the government will put itself in trouble by deciding to implement the laws because there are interest groups ready to challenge their legitimacy, end quote. Now, Falana further argued that enforcing the laws under such circumstances could open the government up to serious legal challenges. He also questioned provisions he considers unjust, particularly exemptions for certain corporate entities, warning that such sections may be challenged in court. Now, despite all these challenges, the federal government maintains that implementation will go on as scheduled, while any outstanding concerns will be addressed during the rollout.
Let's take a look at reactions. The reactions have not stopped on this matter since it was announced and since a date of implementation was also announced. Great news. Currently, both senders and recipients were each charged 50 naira for this transaction. And that's true because there are points that POS people and some other people were acting funny around this. However, starting from January 1st, 2026, this policy will undergo a positive adjustment. Only the senders will be charged the 50 naira fee, while recipients will no longer bear any cost. This charge, though small, might just push more people back to cash, making informal transactions harder to track for the government. It could unintentionally slow down financial inclusion. In other words, both the sender and the receiver will be charged a 50 naira stamp duty. No, that's wrong. Wow, this should be enough to fund the 2027 budget, considering the volume of transactions taking place annually. No, that's wrong. If interest earned on naira-denominated savings accounts was subject to withholding tax, it is confusing why interest earned on forex savings was previously exempted. This new directive, which seeks to correct the anomaly, is a right step in the right direction. That's talking about there's going to be charges, some kind of withholding tax on foreign-denominated accounts. First, you ruin the naira. Then you force people to save in dollars. Now you tax the interest on their foreign currency deposits. At this point, is the APC government fighting poverty or fighting citizens? People on the table are drinking cup. I'll be drinking water and dropping cup. This is going to hit savers hard. Earning interest on your own money now comes with a big tax cut before you even see it. Banks and regulators need to explain how this will affect everyday Nigerians trying to save. And I know that Taiwo Oyedele, who is the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Tax Reform, Fiscal Tax Policy and Tax Reform has come out to try to debunk a number of the issues that have been raised. And I think there's some progress in that, like the fact that you can now use your NIN as your tax ID as an individual, and then use your CAC registration as a tax ID as a business. But it just seems that there's just still so much confusion as to what's going on.
I think we actually need, and I'm included in this, we actually need a lot of enlightenment on this, because I've seen the Taiwo that you talked about. You know, I understand that he's gone to a lot of TV stations, even on newspaper, even radio stations, to try to, you know, explain. But comprehension is also key. Not a lot of people really understand, you know, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to anything.
This should be the work of the NOA.
They need to find a way to break it down, especially for the common man. This guy that reacted, this Dayabu guy that actually reacted, I say no. I think he read, he listened, but he didn't comprehend what was being said. And there's so many people who are on that table as well. So a lot needs to be done. There needs to be that push.
You know, tax, even for people that are enlightened, that it's quite difficult and challenging to understand. That even big businesses need agencies. They have, it's like they outsource their tax system to people to be able to explain to them. So imagine a country like Nigeria, that information is so hard to come by. Now you are leaving the people to just decipher what they think it is. Did you see all the things, propaganda that was coming at the end of the year? Oh, when you're sending me something, narrate it this way, narrate it that way.
Someone has come out to say you don't need
that's
all the
what I am saying.
Exactly.
It's how the people are comprehending it. And the government need to know that these tax reforms, even though they are implementing from now, a lot of people still do not understand it. And this might send us back into the Stone Age for some. A lot of people run away from the banks. They refuse to put their monies there because they believe that if the monies are reflected in their accounts,
they're going to be taxed.
Already.
Of course, to start to keep their money at home, and in other, they're looking for other forms of savings. So they have a lot of educating to do, and they cannot leave this to just anybody to speculate. It is their duty to make people understand what this new tax regime will be. A lot of people just say, okay, they've said that, oh, if you don't end up to a particular amount, they won't tax you. They won't tax you on your personal income. Only a lot of speculation is going up and down.
Which is why
everybody will start to cash out on it. Everybody is now holding master classes, tax education, tax this, tax that. You know how Nigerians can be. And we need to dissuade this coming from just everybody. There must be a way. I'm going to those days that even these tax reforms, all this tax education, all these changes, have you heard it in your local languages?
You see, the truth is, that is where the National Orientation Agency comes in. You have to be able to disseminate and break this thing down for the comprehension of all at every level. If you break it down in people's lingua franca, local dialects and all that, it's easily assimilatable. Voila. It's easily the people will easily understand it, rather than just being thrown into quandary. People are busy asking themselves now, like Lola said, there was the whole propaganda out there of put narration in your gift transport, transfer to self, something, and people are now saving money manually because they want to see their monies. You go to the market women are telling you that me we don't buy cocoa, that what do you call that thing? I've bought it, and that's where I'm going to be saving my money because of the fear of just being taxed sporadically and randomly. And then the lawyer, Femi Falana, said something that the government is saying, oh no, we'll figure it as we move around. Look, you can't do that. I don't know when the government feels that is even an option to be considered.
Do you know this?
We will figure it as we move around.
You know, this is a lawyer policy.
I can assure you forward that things that are tentatively going to be problematic. The problem is that we as a people, we don't like any legal things or like to, that's why people hurry to settle. I don't want I will not take it to court. Now you have to be able to go the 9 miles. You have to be able to go all the way out and say that, listen, if I don't want something, I have to also throw down the gauntlet and make sure that, okay, let's go in for the long haul.
This cashless policy that is just even taking us some time to even come to terms with and use effectively. We are going to go back on it because a lot of people are going to demand cash
one of the
from
reactions
you.
was
When you get to the open market, you want to transfer by POS, they will be telling you that no, I don't have POS, I don't have a bank account. Give me my money cash. So a lot of things are going to change again. And Nigeria is a dynamic country where if they don't understand something, before they understand it, a lot of problems and a lot of challenges would have happened around that thing before we come to the real comprehension of it.
But Catherine talked about, them finding a way as time goes on.
Yes.
Like are Nigerians willing to move with them? I don't think so. And you talked about the whole confusion. The confusion behind those with business names changing to LLC and everything, and so many people have come out to say, no, yes, you have to move to LLC if you do not want to be taxed. And then some have come out to say, no, stay in your business name, it's so confusing everywhere.
It's pay as you go. It's almost as we are just the blind leading the blind.
Yes, ma. So as you talked about, Femi Falana raised the issue of basically he was talking about the allegations of alterations that we heard about 3-4 weeks ago, where a senator stood up and said what was gazetted was not what was presented to them. And so many people have have pointed to that and said that is going to present to the people a lack of transparency. That if you have a National Assembly member saying that what they debated and what they passed is not what the federal government gazetted, because it's the federal government responsible for gazetting federal laws and putting them out, then that's an issue. And then you talk about you want to we'll figure it out as we roll out. It should not be so. Not on people's money and not on taxes. Two things in life are sure: taxes and debt. But when the taxes these are the kinds of taxes that, because Nigerians are not used to paying taxes, let's be honest, we're going to fight this. People are going to look for ways to flout this. I do agree that we need to widen the net. I've had numerous conversations with Taiwo when he was at I think at one of the top 3 financial advisory firms in the country when I was doing Business Edge. And he's always been a person who says, we're taxing the poor. And I believe that in his time as the chairman of this committee, he has been very, very deliberate to attempt to remove as many, consolidate the taxes. Do you know how many taxes people were paying? Like just taxes scattered everywhere. Double taxation happening with the states as well. So he's been very deliberate to try to
on products that have already been taxed.
So he's been very deliberate to try to make it as easy on the poor as possible. But he's been very, very plain spoken to say people that should be paying tax are not paying tax. They're not in the tax net. And some rich people and companies are not paying as much tax as they should be paying. The burden would not be as heavy on more Nigerians if more companies were paying the right amount of tax. Companies are bribing and paying less money to bribe so that they don't pay the tax they should pay. Aside from that, let's all remember, I hope this is what happens, that with these taxes, Nigerians are demanding more accountability, that we demand more transparency. Because if you're coming to take the money I'm working very hard for, then I'm not seeing that money. I'm not seeing it on the roads. I'm not seeing it in schools. I'm not seeing it in healthcare. I'm not seeing it in my security. I'm not seeing it translate to the budget and then translate to my reality. We're going to have what? Problems.
So I want to go back to what you said about, the gazetted copy and all that. There was a report sometime this week that some people requested for the gazetted copy and they were not given. That the clerk, I don't know, the clerk locked it up or something. But, there's a push for the gazetted copy to be published online because, there's a website. Exactly. There's a public document. There's a website that it needs to be uploaded on. It is not there.
And that's the place that gets into your transparency and credibility, because taxation is also psychological. I need to believe that you know what you want to do with my money. I need to trust you that you're doing the right thing with my money. The government will mess this up. Choosing, or I won't say forcing, but allowing Nigerians to circumvent this if they cannot be transparent, if they cannot be credible, and if they do not earn public trust back. How are you taxing me and I cannot trust you? Because we have enough corruption cases. So it's my money, it's more of my money you want to steal now. That's how it's going to sound to Nigerians.
But you know that Nigeria, we're a country that is wired. We are like the weapon fashioned against ourselves. This thing that you are talking about, we are talking this thing academically. But because this is a papering thing, that is when you will know that Nigerians have a higher intellect. You will see that, just as Tolu said, those that should be paying taxes will be paying less because they will find legal ways and some ways to make sure that they circumvent the system. And the people that are not supposed to pay a lot, they are the ones that will be crying every day because their media savings, their little earnings. Look at Are you thinking of
0 to 800,000? You're not getting taxed.
So they will say on paper.
People are
SMEs.
0 to 8. So that's not individuals. SMEs, I'm not sure, but 0 to 800,000 on your personal income, you're not being taxed.
I think SMEs is 50 million.
Yeah, so a lot of SMEs are actually exempt because which SME by the title, small and medium scale, how many of you are making 50 million?
This is the categorical thing that the law is supposed to say, but you know that enforcement is another level.
Let me shock you first now.
Before they tell you can't get this because of this.
From yesterday, POS operators, if you want to withdraw like 5,000 naira, before it used to be 5,100, now it's 5,150. Now
on the island is 5,200.
Leading me to what I was going to say, that everyone's going to jump on this back. Remember when the dollar was going crazy at one time? The paper seller will tell you, madam, is the dollar. Everyone is going to stand under that canopy.
No, but they are the ones who are going to be taxed 50 naira, the recipient. Right?
Listen, Dashin, this just shows you it's going to be a ripple effect, ne? People are going to, yes, people are going to stand under this umbrella, under this canopy, and stand under there. You know, this stamp duty, it's affecting everybody. It's affecting, and it's the same way, and that's how we operate in the lower echelon. That's how we, if you go to the streets, all this English we're speaking, they don't understand it. They don't understand it. They understand what they interpret from what they see. So one thing I know for certain is that on Jasiri,
next week we're going to be
Anthony, I even want us to make sure that we go to the common man, the woman in the market.
We're doing a vox pop.
What do they understand about this new tax law? Some understanding. That means SMEs are not supposed to add anything to their business because they are not paying. But they will. They'll tell you they are being taxed.
Because it's
and if you go and check, some tax person is collecting something from them because Nigerians are used to under the table things.
Yes.
That's why you see a proper tax officer. He's going there to collect tax. You must. The government says you must pay. So there are so many things that we need to work out before the year runs into itself.
This is not a story that's going to end. I'm looking at my bank accounts, but again, they've said the government is not going to, does not have access to your bank account to remove the money. There's a lot. We will bring a tax expert on next week to help us break this down a bit more. If you have questions, you can send them to us at Jasiri or at News Central on any of our timelines, and we'll make sure to ask your questions when we have the experts here. We're not the expert. This has been, I'm trying to avoid this as much as because it's very complicated. Not more complicated, but can be very simple, and we'll bring somebody who will simplify it. Lolo, let's get to an update.
All right, let's get an update on the Anthony Joshua accident that occurred last week on the 29th of December. The boxer has been discharged from the hospital after receiving medical care and declared stable and in good health. Thank God. While the news of his discharge brings some relief, this remains a deeply tragic story following the deaths of Lateef Ayodele and Sheen Ogami, the two men who sadly lost their lives in the accident. Although Joshua was declared clinically fit to recuperate from home, he was described as being heavy-hearted and deeply emotional over the loss of his two close friends. It was also revealed that both AJ and his mother visited a funeral home in Lagos to pay their final respects as the bodies of the deceased were being prepared for repatriation later that evening. DSP Oluseyi also revealed that the driver who was driving the Lexus has also been arrested, an ongoing investigation. We hear that the driver of the truck parked on the side of the road is on the run and is also wanted for questioning. I know that with this update, of course, there will be reactions because everybody was just waiting for him to get a little better, hoping that he will shed some light on what exactly happened. So let's take a look at some of the reactions.
So every other Nigerian that ever had accidents and lost their lives never matter. I hate selective justice.
I was waiting for this.
It's good for drivers to know that they have a responsibility to themselves and most importantly their passengers and other road users. We need to normalize investigating road traffic accidents and prosecuting those found culpable. Maybe that will make people to be more careful on the road. I do not appreciate selective justice. How many commercial drivers that survived an accident have you detained for questioning? Allow me to blame the occupants of the car for a moment. They noticed the driver was driving recklessly, but they didn't caution him. I have driven on that road multiple times last month. The way VIPs speed on that road is alarming. Speed limit enforcement has to be done. Otherwise, things like this will not stop. Test for alcohol. If he wasn't drunk, then investigate the car service history.
Okay.
You know, I told you when we were having this conversation, I've been on that road. It's one of the reasons I probably don't go home as much as I should. That road, my anxiety goes up.
No,
I get so much. That's Lagos Ibadan.
Lagos Ibadan is good.
Ibadan, Bomashaw, that they still have not finished.
Lagos Ibadan is good.
The road is good. It is smooth.
Ibadan.
People are doing 100, 110, 120 on that road.
Yes, because it's
smooth. It's good.
But, you know, Tolu, what I am saying is that, please, we have to be very careful because these are high-profile individuals. But we must make sure that true justice is served. The fact that the driver, an accident occurred, I would want them to properly investigate because sometimes it is not the fault of the driver. If they are saying that the tire burst, would that be the
So they're saying the tire burst on high speed. That if he was not going as fast as he had when the tire burst, he might have been able to control the car. But I can tell you, a tire bursting on an expressway, it's almost impossible for anybody to react rightly. Most people will jerk, jam, whatever you can. So even on regular speed, let's even say 80, you're still going to feel somehow. Especially when you know cars are whizzing past you, coming at you. It's a difficult place to be. But I want to go back to that selective justice. How many accidents have they prosecuted? Who was I telling about the accident I saw yesterday? On one of the expressways here in Lagos. You can see that the downfall had turned completely left. So it was completely left, and the car, it was like this. This is the downfall, the car is like this. How does the downfall end up like this? Almost crossing the median. And so people were responding in the comments and saying that downfalls on that road, they will come from the complete left lane and cross traffic to either drop people or pick people up. And they don't care about the drivers coming behind them. One person died, 2 children were injured. Have you arrested the downfall driver?
It's sad it's sad because when I saw the reaction, one of the reactions, I knew that he was onto something. Because it is true. Is it because this is now a celebrity that, you know, we are now selecting the justice we dispense? Bam, exactly that. So, and we're asking, what happens to the common man? What happens to all of us here drive? And if you drive, when Tolu was saying, when you were talking about the tire burst, I was thinking, if you're driving, your tire is wobbly. As a driver, you pay attention to the vehicle that you're driving. Won't you hear wobbly? Won't you sense something though, that the tire is, and it's true, if they were driving on top speed, it's difficult to control a tire bursting. And my question when I was reading the comments and when, you know, we're talking about this was, why do you have to invite the guy whose truck was stationed there for questioning? Like, it's not the first time. It has been that truck. I want to assume it has been there.
It's not everywhere you're allowed to park. It's not everywhere you're allowed to park.
So is it now that it has been parked there? Is it because now that Anthony Joshua has been involved in an accident, they are now suddenly looking for the owner of the parked truck?
If that truck wasn't on the road, what would have happened? I understand when you say that.
Wouldn't he have veered off into the bush?
I understand when you say that.
If the truck wasn't there, wouldn't have been, you know,
wouldn't that have been better?
Maybe something might have even stopped the car. But I understand when you say, is it because Anthony Joshua? But if it takes a celebrity, right? If it takes this kind of incident to bring sanity, you know, on our roads, to bring sanity, you know,
it will be a temporary fix. There's nothing anybody's going to tell me. We've said on this table that we've agreed that actually there should be a speed limit. If that road is, as you guys say, I don't ply that route often. I don't even remember when last
speed limit. Who would?
That's a thing. Stop collecting money from people and saying, "Boss, how far?" and do your jobs.
It was only when they started installing CCTV cameras that road users started to have sense.
When they would send you pictures.
When they would send you pictures or send you what do you call it, the amount.
Something like that. It goes back again to the government of whether it's the state government, is the federal government, that you need an umbrella to put on it and stamp it and say, okay, this is not done, this then happens. But we have to take it seriously, and it behoves in the states to do what they're supposed to do.
The fact is not that we don't have technology, because I remember many years ago, even back to when I was in maybe secondary school, you will see FRC or something, cars parked. Maybe they have some kind of equipment they put on top of their car that shows the car limit as you are going. I do not understand what we mean in this country that we leverage technology. There are technologies that are in other climes. That you
know, to shock you that they have the technology. But they are carried away by, Madam, how today now? Anything for your
We are not
carried away by that from stopping those who are exceeding speed limits.
A lot of things what you wanted to say.
We're not reinventing the wheel. This is something that it should be done. It's just the fact that we do not have a consistent way of doing things. Sometimes you will see them, sometimes you will just they throw caution to the wind as if nobody is passing there on a daily basis.
What I'm saying.
This is somebody's job every day. It should be.
Now it's Anthony Joshua.
So now we have a high
clear road. Let us do that.
You have someone that will make everybody start to scamper. And when they scamper for this, they'll be looking for a scapegoat.
So apparently he's meant to be charged with reckless driving. He has been identified, but he's also a long-standing member of Joshua's Nigerian logistics team.
Exactly.
He was also discharged from the hospital in Lagos late on New Year's Eve, and then he was driven to Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, where the crash had occurred, and that's where he was interrogated and then arrested. So they're expecting that he will be charged maybe Monday, because today is Friday. These holidays have messed things up. Maybe on Monday and charged for reckless driving.
So he's taking the fall for whatever it is that happened. Whatever it is that happened.
Oh my God.
So we don't even know. We do not even know if the tire burst or it was reckless driving. I don't understand.
So who was it? Favor was there on Tuesday. And he spoke to witnesses because around that area, apparently that area is where you have like mechanics and things. People were there. We spoke to at least 3 witnesses. Let me not say 3. We spoke to witnesses who confirmed that they heard the tire burst. So they heard the tire burst. He tried to do whatever it did. He hit the truck. They said the truck bounced him back, bounced the car back. That might be because
okay, that because I never talk spiritual things that can be involved at this.
Are we going on a break? We're going on a break now. When we come back from this break, this story, it almost skips me. But sometimes when you hear a message that gets to your heart,
you gotta listen.
You gotta listen. We'll be right back. You'll know what we're talking about. I think I need to call this story spiritual ginger. Yeah. I should let Catherine take this story because she's the one who, she's wrong. You commune with the spirit. Let's get to it. The president of the Nigerian Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has ordered the withdrawal of all defamation lawsuits instituted in his name against individuals he accused of damaging his reputation. Please, the question you should ask is why. Here's the answer. He said that a New Year's Day sermon compelled him to choose peace over prolonged legal battles. Nigerians won't like it. They want to choose violence. Anyway, Akpabio disclosed on Thursday during a New Year Mass at the Sacred Heart Parish, Uyo, where he revealed that as many as 9 defamation suits were pending in court before his decision to discontinue them. Quote, I had almost 9 cases in court against some individuals who defamed me, who lied against me, who slandered my name. But I listened to the priest and suddenly realized he was talking to me. So I hereby direct my solicitors to withdraw the lawsuits against them. If you don't believe me, let's listen to Akpabio.
For me, today, I listened to the homily, and I just thought that the parish prepared for me, because as the priest was speaking, he wasn't the one speaking. It was the Holy Spirit that was speaking through him. And he said, leave behind all things that happen in 2025. So that they don't drag you backwards. Hatred, avarice, feeling of being defamed, feeling of character assassination, being lied upon. Everything must end here in this church today. And you will move from here into the realm of the spirit and face Nigeria and what God sent you to do. I want to assure the priest that I have heard. And because of what you said here, I had almost 9 cases in court against some individuals, against people who defamed me, who lied against me, who slandered my name, and all. But listening to the priest, I suddenly realized he was talking to me. So I hereby direct my solicitors to withdraw all lawsuits against me.
Why is you? You people should talk.
And they should have taken all of us together so that if you ask me, you know this country.
Now who I go ask?
In the first place, you know, I would wonder why everybody would think the generosity of what he said. Why does he even have a mic in church? I want to know. Maybe I want to just start from there. Is he sharing testimony? Is it customary of the church that every member that comes will grab the mic and talk after the priest has talked?
She said grabbed it. Maybe he just requested for, like, he had something to say.
So in church, as you go to your church now, you can raise your hand in the service and say, so that's something to say.
You didn't see the seal? You didn't see that?
God has something to say, that you will be given the mic. You see, in this country, when a suit or if you have matters in court, it's a matter of your integrity. So it's not about generosity. If you truly believe that they lied against you, they defamed you,
they damaged your reputation.
You are not hurting them. You are protecting your own integrity. But now that you are letting go, is that to say that you actually are saying that maybe it's totally baseless? And it wasn't necessary in the beginning, in the first place.
Your lawsuit was baseless or what?
So it wasn't necessary in the first place, and you are just looking for a convenient or a particular time to just be generous and just say, leave it be. Imagine somebody called me a prostitute. You think it is generosity that will make me say that I'm letting it go?
No, maybe you sit and say to yourself, like, in the spirit of the new year, the dawn of the new year, from midnight into, from midnight that heralds in the new year. That's the first of January of the new year. You don't want to carry baggage, and you just say, okay, I want my God to fight for me. I don't need to be. You understand? It's possible.
If you let go, the people that are fighting you, did they say they are letting go? So when you withdraw the charges, are they walking back on the accusations of you?
You know, they say in fights, there has to be one person who's ready to play the bigger person. So maybe, I'm just looking at it from another perspective.
So one of the fruits of the Spirit is kindness. Another one is gentleness. And I'm not saying, I don't know what the sermon was actually on, but I even would like that this father is the one that preaches for all Nigerian politicians. Maybe there's something he said that we all need to hear clearer. If he can move the spirit of the Senate president to graciously, to kindly, to generously from the fruit of, from the depths of his heart, to say withdraw 9 cases of defamation. He's a bigger person than I am. And if this is a new leaf from our Senate president, please let this leaf and chapter continue into 2020.
So I am personally glad that
because it cannot be me. No, if they called you Ashewo, if they called you prostitute, if 9 separate people made 9 separate cases of
maybe the Spirit can speak to her and say, leave it, my child. I will fight your battle.
Can I say something?
Don't upset me
I'm glad that he decided to choose forgiveness, because there's something that unforgiveness does to your spirit, to your soul, and also
so fighting for my reputation is unforgiveness
to your body, because allegedly he's actually not well. I don't know. Maybe it's that unforgiveness that's actually So letting it go would actually help. Help.
So come and bundle everybody.
It's possible. Not allegedly.
These people of God was speaking, because that was why they pinpointed him in church. As they are just going to say, God is.
So I said, let that Reverend Father be the one to be preaching. Let him be the one preaching for all Nigerian politicians.
And say that, they should allow, and as they move into election year, and as they prepare to go into election year, they should allow the spirits flow through them, and they should listen to discernment.
From this Reverend Father?
Yes, and use Senate President Akpabio
But do you know what it takes? Let me not be so antagonistic to this because it could not be me. The one time one newspaper tried it with me, I sued them and I won a settlement. I can say I don't play with my name. I work too hard to create the name and reputation I have to let people just want to say anything they want to say. So but let me say, maybe. You know, because do you know what it means for the Senate president to stand at that pulpit and say, I'm going to remove these cases? It does show a bigger man. Maybe we need to take a leaf from the Senate president's page and all be bigger people in 2026. Okay.
His mandate.
What are you singing?
He's singing.
It's the second day of the new year. It's the first Hot Topics Friday, and I am not going to be bundled by anybody. Please have a good one. We see you guys on Monday. Sing that song again.